Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming along once again to our APAC May Canvas Community Meetup. We've got a relatively short agenda today, so as I mentioned to a few people a short while ago, if there's anything you would like to add, talk about, discuss, any ideas you'd like to raise, please feel free to do so in chat, and at the end I can raise those so that we can discuss them as a group. Alrighty, so our standard agenda, what we'll do is have a quick welcome to any new members. If there's anyone that's new in the group that would like to say howdy and tell us a little bit about yourself, please just feel free to raise your hand using the raise hand function of Zoom, and I'll come to you in a moment. We'll then do a quick round the group update on what everyone is doing. Again, I'll just get you to use the raise your hand feature for that one. We've then got a discussion on Canvas data and LTI dashboards. So that's a group discussion and thoughts, which is being run by Amatos. Thank you for running that. And then just our standard agenda items at the end. So without further ado, are there any new members who would like to introduce themselves today?
Sorry, Stuart, I can go. I couldn't quite find the raise hand button, so I'm raising my hand physically, but can everyone hear me okay? Can you hear me, Stuart? Yep. So my name's Amatos. I'm a data scientist on a learning analytics team at RMIT University, and this is my first APAC meeting. That's me.
Welcome on board. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Isabel Williams from the Tasmanian Education Department. I'm working as a blended learning leader, and we're rolling out Canvas to all the teachers in Tasmania. So I'm working with teachers in schools to get them up to speed on Canvas. This is my first meeting.
Excellent. Welcome on board to both of you. Alrighty, so quick round to the group update on what everyone is doing. So would anyone like to talk about their current priorities? Just a very quick, what's on your radar at the moment? For us here at UTS, as I mentioned last time, we're really powering towards grades, grade submission from both of our LMSs, Blackboard and Canvas, into our student systems. So that's a big priority for us, and probably one of our key focuses for the time being. Anyone else got anything they're working on they want to raise? No, okie dokie. Alrighty, I'll hand over to Amatos to discuss Canvas data and LTI dashboards.
Okay, all right, thank you, Stuart. So I'm just trying to find the feature to share. Oh, here we go, share screen. Okay. Desktop one for share screen. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Stuart? Yep, cool. Sorry, I just want to check. Can you guys see the lecture slides if I slide into it? Were you able to see the lecture slides? Yes? You could? Okay. So basically, my reason for sort of attending this video conference today is that I had a chat with Jade, and I told her that I was reaching out individually to universities across Australia and in the US that are on Canvas or transitioning to Canvas, and trying to get a better understanding of what their learning analytics teams are doing. The primary reason being that, you know, in trying to set the agenda for our own team, there was always a fear that we were either reinventing something that someone had already created, or we were working on a project that someone else is working on. my reason for reaching out and my reason for joining this community was that if this is a one-stop shop where all of the universities that are on Canvas are plugged into together, then it's a great way for us to increase the transparency of the projects that are being developed in the learning analytics space, and hopefully facilitate more a better coordination across institutions. So just quickly, by transparency, there's a few key things that I've been asking most universities, and that's basically around these 5 points around what tools they're developing, what technology stack that they're using, how their team is structured, whether there's a single team that's in charge of the analytics and the development of their products, how they evaluate the tools once they deploy them. So, so are academics or students actually using them? And finally, how Canvas data is being utilized. So especially for the requests table, if you guys are familiar with that, that's a running log of all the student and staff behaviors, clicks, and what sort of work they've been doing in mapping those request logs to front-end behaviors, and what sort of metrics are coming out of that. And the key benefits in terms of coordination that I'm seeing is, especially for our team, because we're very young, it's that there are a lot of benefits that can come through adopting a similar technology stack, which isn't really necessarily a viable option for old established teams, but definitely is for someone like us. And if there's a similar technology stack, then that allows for collaboration across institutions. And the second part that I alluded to before is the reduction of replication of effort. So you can essentially leverage what the universities are doing instead of everyone rediscovering the same metrics or the same tools to be built in Canvas. So quickly, the two projects that we've been working on at RMIT, which led to me reaching out to the community, were that firstly we were doing the mapping of request logs, so from the back end to what specific behavior on the front end they correspond with. So for example, when a student clicks on a specific page, what is the signature of logs that are generated, and how do you then interpret that into a behavior? And for us, that was an exceedingly painful and tedious process, and to have to do that for every behavior is very difficult to do in a timely fashion. So reaching out to other universities and seeing whether they are also trying to make sense of the requests metrics, the requests table, and whether we can coordinate who wants to look at what behaviors, and then pool our understandings. And the second project was we're working on developing an instructor-facing dashboard. So it's essentially something that we would like to be a LTI integration for Canvas, and it would allow the instructor to look at course level metrics for their students. So some of the things like what other courses are most commonly co-enrolled with your course, other things such as heat maps of when students are engaging with your course content, and what type of course content they're engaging with. So I can quickly show you some slides of the dashboard itself, and this is just a prototype that we've been working on, but the idea is that this is the overview page, and and you know, it provides a demographic and academic profile of your students, so you can see a breakdown of the gender distribution, the age distribution, and on the far right, the table shows what programs students doing your course are enrolled in. And the two charts at the bottom show the GPA distribution of students taking your course, so whether it skews to the high or to the lower side. And the chart on the right-hand side shows the GPA distribution of students that enrolled in your course but have since dropped it. So other metrics, this is another metric that we're building into it around the co-enrollments of students taking your subject. So the bar chart at the top is a ranking of other courses that your students are taking in the same semester, and the count is the number of students that are taking that course. So you can see that majority of students are taking these three courses at the top. But there's a pretty pretty long tail of other courses that students are taking also. The breakdown in the pie chart at the bottom is just around the colleges from which those courses come from. So the hope for me in this session is that I can learn a little bit more about these questions of the other universities that are represented in this video conference today. You know, so what are similar projects that you guys are working on? What's your technology stack like, and you know, how are you utilizing the requests, the requests table? So I will stop my screen share. So Stuart, can I guess would you like to volunteer what I guess University of Adelaide is doing in the learning analytics space?
I can do UTS.
Okay.
I'll let the Adelaide guys talk to Adelaide. So at UTS, actually, we've been looking at this this year. We have been, we'll say our technology stack here is primarily Cognos. So we've actually had a look at the example reports that can come out of Tableau, because we know that Tableau, Canvas has pre-made reports that you can plug straight into Tableau, and they'll do that on Tableau Online. The concern for us was we already have Cognos BI, we already use that technology stack, and Tableau Online is only hosted in the USA. Obviously, we've got a requirement to host data in Australia, and that was one of the big things when we looked at getting our new LMS. So that was certainly a consideration that we looked at it and went, if we went down the Tableau route, we would only be able to use Tableau Desktop. And so we went down the path of, let's actually get this into Cognos. So as we speak, we've got developers working on that at the moment. We use the Canvas Data Redshift hosted product because we had a look and did some estimates and figured out that it would take almost as much effort over the first year to spin up the Redshift instance ourselves, as opposed to getting Canvas to do that and us just pulling the data in from it. Wow. So that's really where we're at the moment, connecting into the Redshift instances and getting that data into Cognos. In the first instance, we're just going to get that into the schemas to report directly off the data that's there. After that, we're going to look at bringing the data into our data warehouse so that we can actually enhance that with other data from the university, from our other systems, as well as use the Canvas data in enhancing other university system data as well.
Okay. And are you guys looking at, so I know that, I'm not familiar with Cognos, but I know that Tableau is very, I guess it's very structured. It's not like it doesn't give you the flexibility of developing like a web framework might. Are you guys looking at building capacity to develop more flexible tools, I guess? So things that might allow you to, for example, and correct me if I'm wrong if Tableau allows this, but if there's a subset of students that are at risk, to quickly be able to identify them and target them that sort of interaction?
So we do have our center, in addition to everything I just said, we do have our Center for Connected Intelligence, Kirsty Kiddo, who came actually to the last, I think it was the last session or the session before. And so you can probably contact her through the online community, or if not, I can get you in contact. We've recently given them access to the Canvas data so that they can look at some of the more connected intelligence sort of reports that you're looking at. And so we're really looking from the Cognos side of the business reports, getting the sort of management reporting, auditing reporting, those sort of elements out. And our Center for Connected Intelligence, KIC, are going to look at I'd probably say what would be known as the cool reports, the things where we can actually start getting some of that intelligence out, as opposed to looking at it as a management reporting or auditing reporting.
Yeah, sure.
So that's UTS. I'll hand over to someone else who might like to talk about their institution.
Yeah, look, I can talk a little bit about Swinburne. I'm not actually involved in the project, the analytical project. All I know is at the moment they are. We have a department that looks at giving the teachers a report at the end of the teaching period, and they already do that with a lot of data. So they already collect a lot of data and produce that through Tableau. And I believe that they're trying to integrate, more data with the Canvas Data API to produce essentially that report just in more detail, but specifically for Canvas as opposed to what was running with Blackboard. I'm not sure where they're going yet with what I think you're probably more interested in, which is like live data, actually doing more of kind of live data reporting. I suspect they're thinking about it, but I'm not sure where they're at. If you're interested, you can contact me offline, and I can chase up some people who might be leading that project, and maybe you guys can have a conversation.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Mark.
Just Kim Schutz here from University of Adelaide. The people to answer this aren't in the meeting today, which is probably Mark. But I can chase up some information on how we're handling it. There is a lot happening here with analytics, so it's probably best if I chase up, or if anyone wants to chase up with me later, or Mark.
Okay, great.
Hi, Amatos. Kevin here, University of Auckland.
Oh, hey.
How are you? Like the work you're doing. It's looking good. Much like the others, we've actually already directed the daily feed into our data warehouse for the same reason as UTS, to aggregate with other data sources. And just as an aside, I guess, I mean, our priority is not so much within course, but across course. So we've sort of made a priority to try and look at holistically at a student, and the initial dashboards will reflect that. So it's just a question of perspective and what you're trying to uncover, I guess. But happy to put you in contact with our technology guys.
Great. Thanks.
Okay.
Anyone else got any thoughts that they'd like to raise? No? Alrighty. Amatos, hopefully that's given you a few good insights and a few good names of people that you can get in contact with. I'm, as I said, happy to put you in contact with the team here at UTS so we can extend that. I think it's a great opportunity to avoid reinventing the wheel. Because a lot of us are going to be looking at exactly the same things. And if we can share some of that knowledge and expertise, I think that's really powerful. The other thing I'd say is, obviously as a Canvas coach, it's great if we can to share that in the community as well to help others out. I mean, obviously some of it might be strategic, and so that we necessarily wouldn't. But if there's lessons learned and tips and tricks for helping all of us get started, I'm happy to collaborate and potentially look at writing a getting started with Canvas data or something along those lines. I recently wrote the API document, API getting started, which a few people have really liked. So those sort of documents to really help someone who's starting out going, I have no idea what to do, can be really helpful as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was in touch with some people from I forget what the name of the team is, but it's at the University of Adelaide, and someone called Daniel Barry there, and we exchanged some SQL scripts around metrics that we could pull out of the Canvas data, and we found that that we could very quickly change, like just slightly, some of the terminology in the script to run on our systems and get meaningful data back. And so that's sort of what led to this thinking that we're all kind of writing the same scripts, and wouldn't it be great if there was some sort of central repository, and then extending that out to other tools that we're developing. But yeah, no, it's been helpful.
Excellent. I'd be very curious to get a copy of those scripts if they're eligible for sharing further. And I know there's probably a couple of other people who would as well, especially because we're doing this right at the moment. So any of those you've got available would be handy.
Yeah. Are you guys just curious? Are you guys working with requests data at all?
Not yet. That's next week.
Next week.
I literally just said these are the reports we need, and they're going to need to come from requests. So that's literally in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Yeah. So if you guys, because we have looked at requests quite a bit, so if you guys wanted to reach out about something, because once you dig into it, you realize how messy it is, and happy to share insights and findings.
Perfect. Thank you. And Kim, thank you very much. If you could follow up with Daniel, that would be greatly appreciated. Alrighty, everyone. So that's our only official item for today. Is there any other questions anyone would like to raise, share, ask while we've got the team together for this week? Mark.
Yeah, look, I guess one of the things I wanted to just ask Stuart was around, I know, a couple of months ago we started talking about prioritization of issues that we thought might be of interest. And yep. I know we've kind of gone through a process of, or some of us have anyway, populating a table of things that we think may be of interest to others. Are we going to do anything with that?
Good question. I would like to, and it's been a little busy. So I'm happy to get in there with what we've got and create a prioritized list with the items that we have. I think there's been a few of us, a small handful of us who've been involved with it and really working towards that. So I'm happy to take the list that's currently there before the next meeting and create sort of okay, this is what we're going to call the first list that we're looking at and we'll prioritize. And maybe what we should, if you think it's a good idea, we can take that list, ask everyone to prioritize it. I can maybe do a survey, send that out to the mailing list and say, look, this is the first thing that's been raised. And maybe use this as a catalyst to say, hey, everyone, if you can vote on the first version of this, and then see what comes out and then potentially iterate on it further after that.
Yeah, I think it's just a good way to continue the discussion, because I kind of feel like we lost sort of momentum on that list since we started it up a few months ago. I think even I've forgotten kind of what I put on that, and I know I put quite a few things. So, but yeah, I was just thinking today we probably should get some focus on it again. Definitely.
What I'll do is I will prep. I might see if I can use SurveyMonkey or something, and prepare this is our day one list. This is what we're going to start with, and send that out to the current mailing list. If anyone's not on the mailing list, please just prod me online in the community. I can give you the mailing list address to sign up. It just makes it easier than contacting within the community because there's no bulk email function to all the members who sign up regularly to these events. And we'll get that out either at or before the next session, and we can start that process and kick it back off again.
There was another item I was going to ask about as well, Stuart, which was, I know a couple of weeks ago, there was a lot of people who had interest in the new Turnitin beta feature. You mentioned that you might try and get Turnitin to do a demo. How did that go?
I've asked the question. I haven't heard back as of yet. I'm actually asking, so we're going through our account manager at the moment to ask if we can get the beta turned on for UTS, and I was going to use that as a starting catalyst once we had it turned on to say, hey, could you do a demo to us and maybe everyone else as well? So it is still in trail. I haven't been able to set that up as of yet.
All right.
Alrighty. So if anyone has any sessions that they'd like to run next meeting, please let me know. I will send out the invite for the next meeting a little closer to the date, which will be in 3 weeks' time on a Friday. So for those of you who are new, we generally alternate between Tuesdays and Fridays because some people can't make the Tuesday sessions, some people can't make the Friday sessions. So please remember to RSVP. Is there anything else? Any last thoughts? No. Alrighty. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming today. Greatly appreciate your time. Amatos, thank you very much for presenting, and hopefully you got a lot of good information there. It was great to see everyone, and we'll see you again in 3 weeks' time.